So this is the next section of the reading transmission of the basic space of phenomenon. Please relax, and I'll do my best to read this, and hopefully you can access and enjoy. Right? So it says, everything is subsumed within all-inclusive awakened mind. Since there is no phenomenon that is not included in awakened mind, the true nature of all phenomenon is that of awakened mind. Space is a metaphor for awakened mind. Since that mind has no cause and is not an object that comes into being, it does not abide in any finite way, is inexpressible, and transcends the realm of imagination. So why is, this is me talking here, why is space a metaphor for awakened mind? In my opinion, a very useful metaphor. Well, because it has the implication of a volumetric kind of stability and all permeating. So it's within everything. I really invite you, if you're not able to access this, to compare it to a dream. You really think you're that character experiencing stuff, but in reality, you're the whole world in that dream. You're the character and the objects in the scene and the people you're interacting with. That's all your mind. So perhaps slightly different in the waking state in that it's a collective, so overlapping. But that can become very useful because everyone and everything you see is a reflection of your mind. You cannot find that correlation, that reflective correlation or co-emergent correlation. You can't figure that out through analysis, through thinking about it. It only can be revealed to you. And I'll go out on a limb here, something I wouldn't have said a while ago, but I feel I can get behind this, that even when it's raining, you will know what part of your mind is responsible for that connection. So yes, you have a co-emergent. The elements are cyclic. It's constructed from a cyclic kind of reification. So you and your neighbor are both, you both have subscribed to those constructs, right? Although you may have radically different experiences of rain. So it's just an example, though, of how to go way deeper into this. Begin to entertain how everything, even the cup on the table, the person you don't get along with, how just to begin to make room that they may be correlated with your mind, linked to your mind somehow. And do not think about that too much. It can be revealed within ineffability, okay? So, since that mind has no cause and is not an object that comes into being, it does not abide in any finite way, is inexpressible, and transcends the realm of imagination. The phrase, the realm of space, is simply a way of illustrating it metaphorically. If even the metaphor itself cannot be described as something, how could the underlying meaning that it illustrates be imagined or described? It should be understood as a metaphor for what is naturally pure. The underlying meaning is that awakened mind is self-knowing awareness, equal to space. It is not within the realm of the imagination, for it defies illustration or description. Naturally lucid and unwavering, the spacious expanse of utter lucidity is not created, but is spontaneously present, with no fixed reach or range. Dharmakaya is the spacious domain that is the heart essence of enlightenment. The evidence is that anything can and does arise due to the dynamic energy of awareness. Even as it arises, there is no place of arising or anything arising. Arising is simply a label, for if examined, it is found to be like space. Everything being encompassed within a supreme state of equalness without bias constitutes the expanse of infinite evenness, which entails no dualistic perception. Given that naturally occurring, timeless awareness, the true nature of phenomenon, is boundless, analogies are used so that it can be ascertained through metaphor, underlying meaning, and evidence. Equal to space, the nature which subsumes everything and is without differentiation or exclusion is exemplified by these three linking factors. In the womb of basic space, a supremely spacious state of equalness, everything is timelessly equal, with no time frame of earlier or later, no better or worse. This is the enlightened intent of Samantabhadra of Vajrasattva. Awakened mind can be compared to the sun. It is utterly lucid by nature and forever uncompounded. With nothing to obscure it, it is unobstructed and spontaneously present. Without elaboration, it is the scope of the true nature of phenomenon, which does not entail concepts. In being empty, it is Dharmakaya. In being lucid, it is Sambhogakaya. And in being radiant, it is Nirmanakaya. So in that one sentence there, by the way, you have the complete explanation of the kayas and three aspects of your mind. So the three kayas do not come together or separate. Since these enlightened qualities are already and forever spontaneously present, they are not obscured by the darkness of flaws and faults. They are identical in being without transition or change throughout the three times, identical in permeating all Buddhas and ordinary beings alike. This is called naturally occurring awakened mind. Its dynamic energy arises as anything at all, whether there is realization or not. There is the universe of appearances and possibilities and beings, perceptions, and all their variety. Though things arise, none of them has any independent nature whatsoever. Like water in a mirage, a dream, an echo, a phantom emanation, a reflection, a castle in the air, or a hallucination, all things are clearly apparent, yet do not truly exist. They merely manifest adventitiously without basis or support. So there you have the famous metaphors that Buddha Shakyamuni also used. There are many texts elaborating those metaphors and kind of commentaries and all kinds of stuff. Very well-known analogies or similes. I think you can even look up the 8 similes. I think it's 8, right? Oh, 7 there. Looks like they're missing one. Dorji, you scared Yodi. Okay, yeah, so very well-known similes there. You should realize that all these manifestations are temporary, adventitious phenomenon. Yeah, the mirror is used, but typically, maybe somebody can search check me on this real quick, but I thought there was 8 similes. Foam in the water, was that in there? Yeah, mirage in the water. Phantom emanation, reflection, castle in the air. Or Garuda. I think the Garuda was another one, but that one might be hallucination. Okay. So, yeah, that's okay. So, due to the nature of spontaneously present awakened mind, there is a continuous display, the magical illusion of samsara and nirvana. Since this entire magical display is fully encompassed within basic space, you should know that it does not stray from the scope of primordial being. Within this, everything is the scope of awakened mind. With the single perfection, all is perfect. Without being made so, everything is perfect. Naturally occurring timeless awareness is by nature spontaneously perfect. So hold on, let's look at the implications of that paragraph right there, or stanza, whatever you want to call it. What are the implications of that? If you're really truly interested in Dzogchen, and if you have an authentic connection with it, or any authentic path to liberation, then it's asking you to entertain this notion that perfection is here right now, even in your sickness, even in the suffering. We can begin to notice primordial perfection. I wouldn't be saying that because it's kind of a very kind of sensitive thing to talk about when people are suffering, when people are hungry, and you're saying, "Oh, everything's perfect." We have to find a balance there in that, but that shouldn't stop us from the realization of the true nature of reality. Okay, so the implications there are pretty radical to me. It's asking you to test that, and I feel like I've found enough proof and evidence that you can find perfection here now. You can. And I say that coming from a very turbulent childhood and everything, you know. I don't say it lightly or with a sense of irresponsibility. Okay, so we can continue. So, given that awakened mind is neither apparent nor not apparent, the outer and inner worlds of samsara and nirvana do not exist as phenomenon, yet arise nonetheless as myriad display. The universe of appearances and possibilities, whether of samsara or nirvana, because they are by nature the stirring of mind's dynamic energy. You see, so that works really well, doesn't it? That we're creating a whirlpool, and experientially, you should begin to see how your mind can stir reality. But stirring is a great way. It's like vibrating. Um, I don't want to get too existential, but yeah, well, nirvana itself is the stirring going away, so it still implies stirring. But at the same time, the word nirvana has several contexts, one being synonymous with enlightenment. But here, I'm pretty sure they're talking about conditioning and the exhaustion of conditioning. Every time they say samsara nirvana, they're talking about stirring and then uh, not stirring, but still spinning. you see, it's still spinning. So they are by nature I would say the spinning of dynamic energy might be a little bit more fitting there. But it's still, we can say it's been stirred up. And then in the other context, you can think of that as that some folks try to create nirvana by doing good deeds and practicing the 10 perfections, 6 perfections, things like that. So they're actually stirring in the other direction, and they're trying to make nirvana. It could be also referencing that. To me, it kind of references both. Yeah. Okay, I'll continue reading here. In simply arising, forms are by nature empty. From what is unborn, there manifests what seems to be born, but even as it manifests, nothing whatsoever has been born. From what is unceasing, there manifests what seems to cease, but there is no cessation. And again, the implications of that stanza are also quite radical. Uh, I invite you, true yogis, and people, even if you just want a little benefit from meditation, it's fine, but you're really rolling with the uh, big league kind of practice here. And the implications of that is that I love my grandmother, and that's what the implications are. I love my grandmother. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be something? But for example, and she passed, but I still feel connected to her. And again, I'm not really trying to tote realizations here or anything, but more or less giving you a kind of maybe opening there, inspiration even, but to entertain that you could still be connected to beings outside of their appearing manifestations. All right, in the basis of mind, in the very uh, fundamental kind of basis of your mind, you may find your mandala there, your beings there that you're connected with. And how does that happen when we're all one, and et cetera, et cetera? Well, the ultimate truth is ineffable. We can speculate, we can talk about it to a point, and it's fun, but really, in the scriptures it says it's beyond single or many. So it's and I truly believe it's beyond our kind of conceptual scope how that happens, but you can have that revealed to you that these beings are there. And that's why when we see these great masters, sometimes we have a really good feeling because they know us on the root level. You see, they're meeting us at the root level rather than at that purely superficial level. Yeah. So another radical kind of statement here, that there is no cessation, there is no the coming and going. So what does that imply? That implies that you can be here with somebody's mind all the time. You see? Mm. And if you really look at it, your partners, your parents, your relatives, uh, you can find them in your mind. You can find your teacher in your mind. You don't have to physically see these people. It's fascinating, especially for those people who are bodhisattva hearted out there that want to stay connected, right, with these sentient beings. And yeah, it's good news. So okay, I'll read the last stanza here. It says, "These are illusory expressions of emptiness. Even with abiding, there is nothing that abides. There is no basis on which anything could abide. Within the context in which there is no coming or going, regardless of what manifests, it never exists as what it seems to be. And so one is reduced to merely labeling it as having no independent nature." See, boom, that last line, very good. See, we know all this stuff, like for example, Tank's laying in front of me here. I know is he's empty by nature and da 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 da. And if I was purely on the surface, then my dog could die and I'll never see him again. But in my opinion, it's beyond labeling. but we can safely say that you're still connected with these beings. Yeah, if you look, you'll see it. Maybe if you don't look, actually, if you just release a little bit of that surface stuff, you'll be able to see that connection. Okay, so I think we can stop there. Sensory appearances, moreover, arise naturally due to the energy of awareness. We'll pick up there next time. Okay. Yeah, we're almost through the root text of this transmission here.